Look all right?
Yeah.
You look fine?
Yeah, look good.
Yeah, how's your hair? Is it good?
It's all right.
Do you use product?
No,
You don't, it's just naturally that California wavy.
I guess. Not from California, though.
No, California, my Texas. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. We're back. It's the program here on General Effect Media. Daniel Montoya Jr., Aiden Spicer, welcome back. You've made it. Congratulations. Episode 3.
Episode 3.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
The hat trick. You watch hockey?
No.
I don't either, but thanks to one Eric Cosman, the only person I know that likes hockey in Texas, I know these terms.
Okay.
I think that's when they throw the octopus on the ice.
What?
Teddy bear? They throw things on the
like
ice.
a real octopus?
I
doubt that.
don't know that they're like alive. I think they throw. Eric Cosman or anyone else that likes hockey, leave a comment and let us know. Do they throw seafood?
Pissed off all the Canadians.
Oh, man. Apparently the Canadians who are good at hockey have not won the Stanley Cup in a number of years. I think a team.
Wow, really?
I think a team from Florida, of all places.
That's your sport, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be losing.
That's like Canada winning football.
Imagine they won the Super Bowl and all the American teams did.
Exactly. Imagine them winning the NBA final. Oh, they did that one time. The Toronto Raptors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was when Drake rooted for them. And he roots for everyone that wins. So
yeah.
So he'll be rooting for one of the blue teams probably this summer.
Likely.
Yeah. We said episode 3. We've been seeing lots of great engagement, lots of comments, lots of shares, lots of likes on the Instagram, the TikTok, and the YouTube. So thank you to all of you out there that continue to follow along with us and have fun with us. I really want to create or at least foster a community of people. Unlike certain websites where people come with vitriol and hate and anger and like
they expect to immediately get shut down for their opinion.
Correct. And I see some people that are very, very they are very safe in their thoughts. They're very proud and confident.
Yeah.
And we all should be. I made what may be the worst prediction for a drum corps a few episodes ago because they're right now probably 4th place, and I said they might be getting 8th place. We make these predictions, we make these thoughts, and you should feel safe to make your thoughts in the comment section down below and not have anyone attack you or come after you. We will remove any, there haven't been any hateful comments, but we want you to comment, we want you to like, we want you to send messages. We'll put the email down here, we'll put them in the description below. If you want to send some video messages, audio messages, maybe it's a shout out, not like a bandgram, like, hey, slay that Riz, sis, or something like, please don't think that's how I normally talk. I was trying to be cool. Am I cool? Is that cool?
Sure.
Oh boy. But yeah, send some thoughts. Maybe you want to shout out your favorite drum corps, a favorite moment or something like that. And if it's appropriate, and it should be appropriate, keep it classy, keep it clean, keep it fun. And we'll throw it in and maybe we'll listen to it. Maybe we'll see it. Or maybe Aiden will be surprised when he sees it in the edit for the first time. Something like that. So awesome. All right. Well, since we last chatted, we had talked about the Blue Stars. They had revealed their show graphic, their show title, Spectator Sport. We talked about their songs. And then I think the next day, we saw their uniforms.
Yes.
And we'll put them up right here. The uniforms, a very sporty themed uniform.
Absolutely.
They have shades of an Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah,
but not fully going that way.
Yeah.
And then they removed the jackets, I'm assuming. I think there's other images of them in something sporty, They are apparently, don't quote me on this, but as someone who likes shoes and into shoes, they're wearing a new crossover shoe by whatever marching shoe company. They're not sponsoring us, so we're not obligated to mention their real name. But it's supposed to be not like your normal, what do you wear, Vipers? Or what did you wear in high school?
They were like 3 letters.
MTX, DTX?
DTX.
All right, something like that. I think it's more of a sport. Oh, well, they're not sponsoring us either. So speaking of getting rid of hand signs, right, on that one? I think it's supposed to be a sporty kind of mixture shoe. I have seen pictures, whether they were leaked or not, of them. I think they're hand painting their shoes to make them look like sporty shit. But they're not putting like a swoosh or 3 stripes. They might be putting a star. I don't know. They are the Blue Stars. Yeah.
Nike.
Or Adidas. When we did a number of years ago, we did a show when I was working with Guardians, and we actually wore actual indoor baseball shoes because they had the grip for the turf and stuff like that.
For sure.
And we just told the kids, go buy these. I don't know if they were Adidas or Nikes, but just go buy these. And they wore those shoes. And so, different strokes, different folks.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of moving forward with the shoe industry. in marching?
You know, when we were there, I said I don't want to wear Shakos anymore, and we wore ball caps, and we got people blasted in the comments. I can't believe they're wearing ball caps. Now nobody wears them, and now nobody wears hats.
Yeah.
You know, like
I think shoes are next to go.
Well, they should be. You know, marching band, drum corps. It's all remnants of the military. You know, band stuff.
Obviously, yeah.
And
tradition.
They're wearing, you know, because I don't know if you had this. I'm gonna get old for a second. Did you have uniform inspections in band where like the section lined up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You still do that stuff?
Yeah, everybody.
Oh, okay.
At least in my district, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's still around. Yeah, I mean, like you got to make sure your epaulets, or you make sure your
they wouldn't. It wasn't necessary. It was called inspection, but it was more of a not what your uniform looks like, and more of a do you have everything?
Do you have your instrument?
Yeah. Do you have these songs? Do you have your bibbers? Do you have your shoes? Because you would be surprised how many people don't.
I would not be surprised because I don't go a year without seeing someone at Grand Nationals. Oh, my kid forgot his trumpet, or they forgot their mallet bag, or it's like, you know.
Yeah, one of our trumpets had to borrow shoes from Rouse one time. We just had to run across. Please.
They're 14 to 17-year-old kids, right? I mean,
who has a size 10? That's just what it was. But
yeah, so you know, so we have these shoes. They're Dinkles or whatever. They're kind of they're not great shoes. I wish
they just don't support.
And honestly, they seem like they slip anyway. Like, why are you wearing anyway? Especially with the stuff y'all are doing these days. It's not just marching anymore, and you're marching at such fast tempos. Back in the day when your dad and I marched high school band, like we were doing 36 count moves at 140, and like we were trucking.
Oh yeah, we're going.
And there was no like the visuals were like this, and you did a wave of the like. It's not what y'all are doing.
No.
Have you ever seen your dad's marching? Does he show you from Pleasanton or where do you go to high school?
He goes to
Floresville.
There's no videos of that, but I have. I mean, I saw the show he marched. That's about it though.
Oh, okay.
Saw him for about 0.5 seconds on the multicam.
And you go, okay, we're done with that. You said he didn't go, I'm that tall guy in the trumpet section?
He definitely didn't say that.
So anyway, so the Blue Stars, exciting to see. I haven't seen the show with the uniforms. I haven't seen any of that. We just saw a video of their parent preview. I think it was just whatever they did. So it will be interesting to see how that does. They have a bunch of bleachers.
I'm really excited for it, though.
Yeah, that will be fun to see. I think the last time we had bleachers on the field was Blue Coats with their Something About America show.
Yeah.
It was when Dean Westman first got to the Blue Coats. When you could almost trace back to like that was before the Blue Coats just like were on their trajectory of awesomeness. So
I'm excited to hear Winner Takes It All too.
Yeah, by ABBA. ABBA, you know, that's a song that if you're old, you know that song, and if you were on the TikTok, a lot of people use it because there's some like covers of it. Usually for sad dog videos.
I haven't seen that. No.
Well, my TikTok algorithm is it's a mixture of band, shoes, and dog videos.
Okay.
Sad dog videos, unfortunately. But anyway, all right. So the Blue Stars, we're excited to see that. We will probably see more of that this weekend because this weekend's a whole bunch of shows
and tonight,
going on. Oh, tonight, Thursday. Yeah. Oh, that's right. We'll talk about the shows that are coming on later as we record. We're recording this Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon. So some shows that will be taking place later on today. We moved to the great state of Utah, where they had a show, the Core Encore. That's what they called.
The Core Encore.
I don't know why they don't spell it like Encore, like CORPS, but you know that's another free idea from us here at GEM and the program. So you can sponsor us, send us some shirts. If y'all want to send us some swag, here's the best part: we both wear the same size shirt and shoes.
It's true.
It is.
If you want it like a full episode.
Yeah, that's right. It's medium shirts. I mean, I would prefer. I have longer arms, so I would like a large. If you even sent a large, I would wear it. But medium.
Yeah.
9.5, depending on the shoes.
Yeah.
Basketball 9.5 because they fit tight, at least for me. But a 9, so you can't go wrong with that. So awesome. So the Core Encore only had 3 drum corps in world class participate. It was the Boss Crusaders, the Blue Knights, and the Seattle Cascades. So it's the first time the Seattle Cascades have come out. No videos online that we can find. All words I've heard is that they're bigger and better. Shades of pre-COVID Seattle Cascades. So that's really exciting.
Back to what it was.
Yeah, Seattle Cascades, I believe they made finals one time. A number, kind of like Academy, where like they got into finals and then kind of had some other stuff happen. So Boss Crusaders basically swept, all captions, first place the entire way, scoring a 77.850. The Blue Knights getting second, 67.850, a full 10 points from them. Blue Knights' score was the same in Ogden, Utah, as we'll talk about in the next show. Second place in all captions, and then Seattle third place with a 62.650. So not really any surprises. Yeah. This is,
Three different levels
of drum corps. Seattle closer to Blue Knights. Blue Knights not quite so close to Boston. Boston aiming for a championship. Blue Knights aiming to make finals.
Correct.
So, all the way in Utah. I'm sure the weather is much nicer in Utah than it is down here in Texas, heat-wise. Does it get hot in Utah, do you think?
I'm sure it does.
I
have a feeling it's probably like Arizona.
Oh, you're right.
It's kind of similar.
You're right, but it also rains. Snows in Salt Lake. It doesn't do that much here. We now go to the great American city of Cedarburg, Wisconsin. You ever been to Wisconsin?
I have not.
You have not. It's fine. It's fine. You might at some point with any particular drum corps that may go to Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
If you decide to go. The Rotary Music Festival. Rotary. We had 6 drum corps: the Phantom Regiment, the Blue Stars, the Colts, the Troopers, the Cavaliers, and the Madison Scouts. That was the order they came out. Phantom with a 74.9, Blue Stars, we just talked about, 70.8. So they debut your uniforms, they have all that stuff out. The Colts, 70.1. You had asked me, have they always been that close? And I guess so. We're at the 9th place for the Colts last 2 years. Blue Stars right around that. Troopers, close to the Colts, but a little bit further away, I think, than they would prefer. 69.45, tied with the Cavaliers with a 69.45. And then debuting their show competitively, the Madison Scouts with the 66.75, which we'll discuss in a minute. Now, I like to go through the recap and kind of show green flags and red flags. In this case, pink. Green, like they sort of outperformed their placement. Red, this is a code red. You need to take a look at this. Yeah. Also understanding some judges can sometimes make a weird call. Colts should be very excited because they were second place in general effect, even though their core was third place. Only one sub-caption, correct, was third. In what we would say, I'm assuming Dalton, if it's the Dalton I think it is, that might be the visual caption. The general effect, they have one that leans music and one leans visual.
For sure.
The Blue Stars, however, after placing second, placed fifth in one of the general effect captions. Do
we know which one that was?
Well, it says B. Honeycutt, and Dalton is a color guard person, but he's a head brand director at a college. So I think Dalton might be the music person. I think Honeycutt might be the visual. You can let us know if you think that we are incorrect on that. But that is definitely something the Blue Stars need to keep in mind, especially when we keep going on. Honestly, though, I wonder if Honeycutt's music, because if we look later on, Bluecoats are fifth in percussion after getting second and third in some of their other captions. The Cavaliers were getting, what do we say, they're in fourth overall, fifth overall? They got second in color guard, all the way down there. Second in percussion, which is
fair.
They won percussion, placing 8th a few years ago. So
this is not unrealistic.
A strong Cavaliers percussion is usual. A second place for the Madison Scouts in brass.
Wow.
They were last at the show, second in brass. Now, if this was in Cedarburg, Wisconsin, so I feel like I should have looked performance order. I think the Madison Scouts performed last. I think this is like one of their home shows. So that tells you, it's like, okay, they got the final word in on brass score. They got the final word in on other captions. So good for them for getting second in brass. Definitely outperforming the rest of their other captions, which are all pretty much 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
Now, we continue on. Troopers placing 5th in color guard. Now, they were 4th overall, and their other captions were, 3rd, 4th, occasional 2nd. But the color guard, if you look back over the last few years, has been sort of their Achilles heel. When we're in semifinals, their color guard usually places out of finals. And then when we get to finals, they're like in that 11th and 12th slot. So this is not new, the way the scores come out. I know that, different strokes, different folks, different captions, but regardless, this has been something that the Troopers need to look at, and they're aware of this. It isn't like, wait a minute. So this is something. The Cavaliers, second in color guard. So they're saying that percussively and color guardly, the Cavaliers are second place. The other captions, maybe not so much. Now, this happens from show to show. We did have a judge missing in visual proficiency, or J missing. Maybe that was their caption. Now, what they do is if you have a judge missing, they take the other caption and they just double the score. So they took visual analysis and they doubled it and put that in visual proficiency.
Oh, that's actually missing.
Yeah. Like there was no judge there. No. Well, there could be. There's a Twitter account for a J missing, but no. So there wasn't a judge. So you can see the scores are the exact same.
Got it.
So we might have had some movement. We might have not. not really certain, but it definitely would have not been the exact same scores on there. Now, from this show, as you mentioned, the Madison Scouts debuted their show for the first time competitively. They had their parent preview, but they were wearing their green Madison Scout shirts. But we saw the uniforms and essentially the picture. It was unveiled on the Snapchat, I think, or a story before we got to see it full life and in person. So right off the bat, do you remember seeing it? Yes, it's in the text thread. I remember that the Scouts uniform, a couple things. It seems, at least, and this is a picture, it was a bad picture, seems to be more teal than maybe green. They are more of a Kelly green, or a darker Kelly. I think Cavaliers are Kelly green. Madison's a darker green.
Yeah, they're still bringing back like all the same themes that we've seen from last year's.
Correct. Very much. Last year's show was mosaic.
Yeah.
This year it's almost a melange, a mosaic.
Still
of different
see the
things.
logo. Like,
and they added the DNA, which goes over the shoulder into the fleur-de-lis, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the video from them up top. I'd be curious to see how it all reads. Uniforms there's just so much stuff. I think they have a hip drop, a black hip drop.
What you see here is maybe not what you see up there.
And that
usually isn't.
And that's the trick to designing these. I don't design uniforms. I just go like, oh, that'd be cool.
Kudos to the people that do.
Yeah. Like, what looks good up front? Does it look good up top? Does it look good either way? Does it not look good?
I wonder if they ever like make a test uniform and like put it across like a parking lot and just like kind of look at it and be like,
what's interesting is they do send you prototypes, and then you only get like one.
Yeah.
And so you kind of send it out there. But I wonder if now, like with AI, you take a picture and you just double it and go like, oh, that's not going to look good, or that's going to look amazing. I don't know. If
you are a uniform designer, tell us how you do that.
Yeah. I might know a few. Just leave a comment or send us a DM or something. Lots of designers have been DMing me or have texting me and messaging me. All good so far.
Okay.
Thanks for your words. We really enjoyed it. I'm like, cool. I look forward to talking about your show more. I have to go back and watch. Okay, I haven't said anything bad. But we don't say anything bad. It's constructive. Yeah. Now, did you watch the Madison Scouts parent preview?
I did.
It was a few days ago. Yeah, I did too.
I liked it more than I thought I would, like in a good way.
Wow, I can't believe you said that. It sounds awful that when you put it that way. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah,
I liked it. Yeah,
it's fun. Great. Again, there are no uniforms. They have these giant like wheel type,
kind of like 2022 Blue Coats.
When they formed the car that we were talking about that.
I like how my favorite part was immediately. What kind of drew my attention is when they were like, it was like the first hit, and then they had all of the like wheels like in a line, and then they shifted like this, and then the whole like drill like did like this and shifted like it was the center of gravity. That was awesome.
Oh, I think they roll.
Yeah,
the props roll. They don't shift.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're shifting.
Well, I got you. They have new battery arranger, maintaining the same pit designer from earlier. I don't know if they've made any adjustments in the sound design, but I was very captivated early on with the sound stuff that they're going on with the which is what Blue Coats did. Oh, I think it was their caravan show.
Yeah,
is that
we don't know their show, right? Do we?
Who, Blue Coats?
No.
Madison. The Nature of Being.
Nature of Being.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the vocal stuff, about like what it has to do.
And we talked about this a few episodes, maybe the very first episode. The modes that the music is written in. It's very what we would associate with either Latin or Middle Eastern gypsy scale. And so that comes from, I believe, forgive me, Indian, tabla, like it's talking.
Okay.
So it kind of goes hand in hand. Rhythmically, it fits into what harmonically what was going on.
Well, that's a cool crossover then. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they're mixing, and the one we saw was probably somebody's iPhone, so we're not getting like a real good stereo. Yeah. So, but we could still hear the vocal. It's over the drumming, over the keyboard, stuff like that, and they use it as almost like a thread taking us through, very chakra like, if you will, on there. It's a strong drum corps, coming off of 12th place for the first time since Last Man Standing, if I recall. So this is going to be a really interesting race because we have a very strong Blue Knights. We have a very strong Madison Scouts. We haven't seen Pacific Crest yet, officially.
Very well could be strong.
Seattle Cascades have come out strong from what we've heard. Crossmen have come out. Like, there's a lot of people who are getting good. And you have to get good real fast because the season is condensed much more now than it has. So it's going to be exciting to see, can Madison not only hold on to that 12th spot, can they challenge for 11th? Or are they going to be looking in the rearview mirror, cores in the mirror closer than they appear? We'll see. But looking forward to seeing how the uniforms look. Just like with the Blue Stars, we've seen some shows, but we haven't seen them in uniform. So that should be real fun to see how the Scouts are doing. And we're going to see them battle that out more this weekend, probably on some flow marching stuff. They're not a sponsor, but if you'd like to sponsor us, Floor, we just told you, we'll get to see the Scouts of Madison, the Madison Explorer Scouts. We move now to the West, to Seattle, Washington. You ever been to Seattle? You have, right?
No.
No? You ever went with like a band to perform at Wibbick or something like that?
No, not Seattle.
Okay. Well, anyway, so Seattle, Washington, for the Northwest Youth Music Games, 4 drum corps, the Santa Clara Vanguard, the Mandarins, the Blue Knights, and Seattle Cascades. That was the finishing order. Santa Clara Vanguard, 76.550. Mandarins, 73.15. It is over a 3-point gap. Blue Knights, 67.85, the exact same score from the night before. Seattle, 62.3. So, four world-class drum corps were there. And it was pretty chalky. Like, the place that they got was what they got in their captions.
Yeah.
But what I have done here on the recap when talking about marching band and talking about drum corps is talk about the spreads in their individual sub-captions. And I like to use the terms that they use in WGI. They don't necessarily follow into drum corps or marching band. But you have Caleb Rothy, who did General Effect, who is a big wig in WGI. You have Nola Jones. You have Wayne Dillon. You have Julie Davila. These people are always judging in WGI. And so I wonder if maybe they're carrying a little bit of that power of the 10th, as we say. And what we mean by that is you can look at the sub-captions, rep or performance for any of these captions or content and achievement, and you can see the gap. For example, Santa Clara was 0.4 in both sub-captions of General Effect 1 over the Mandarins.
Okay.
In the second caption, other General Effect, 0.2.
That could swap anytime.
Yeah. Now, when we look at what that means or what that could mean, if you see 1 to 2 tenths, that means very comparable. At any point, 5 out of 10 times, it could switch 50% of the time.
Yeah.
If you get to 3 or 4 tenths, minor differences. You go, okay, so
a rehearsal could maybe get you.
A rehearsal. You get into 5 to 7 tenths. That's definitive differences. That's when I'm like, okay, like we're talking about Boston versus Blue Knights. They're looking at 2 different end results.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different. If you get 8 tenths or above, that is a significant difference. I like to say, and someone gave me a great example. I was always saying, like, you're not playing the same sport. And they go, well, you are. But it's like you're an NFL team and you're a college football team. You're playing the same sport. Yeah. But you have significantly different talents.
One's the elite.
Correct.
One's great.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so right now, Vanguard is, 0.4, 0.2 over Mandarins, 0.2, 0.3, 0.1, 0.2, like very, very, very close.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's not unrealistic.
No. But then we go to Color Guard.
Oh.
Color Guard.
Didn't see this one.
0.8 in content, Vanguard over Mandarins. 1.1 in achievement. Now, this is where the bulk of the score came from. Is the Color Guard judge really liked Vanguard's guard and did not like the Mandarin's guard. Now, I don't know enough about guard to go like, yeah, that looked right.
Me either.
I'm just like, you look at that, you're like, was it really like this? To me, this was the first show maybe that the Vanguard and Mandarins were at. Yeah. This is a huge call to make on the very first show.
1.1.
1.1. I've seen these differences before, but like Mandarins were 7th last year. Vanguard was 6th. You're saying in this Color Guard caption, Vanguard's like in top 4 and Mandarin's like way lower. That's what to me when I read this recap what the judge is saying.
We don't know anything about it.
And that is true. But then you look at the gaps in some of the others, and I didn't write these down, but like Mandarins to Blue Knights. Blue Knights are 0.2 and 0.1 away from Mandarins. So Blue Knights was not a finalist corps last year. Mandarins were.
Whoa.
Seattle Cascades, 6.1, 0.9 away from Mandarins. Okay. Fair. And then 0.7 away from Mandarins.
I see what you're saying.
Still closer to So Seattle Cascades was closer to Mandarins than Santa Clara was, or Mandarins were to Santa Clara. And that's, again, that's just reading the sheets.
Yeah.
We'll know more in the next few shows.
For sure.
I think the gap will close. It should close. Because
unless
the Mandarins walked out there, the Mandarins Color Guard walked out there, they tripped over their rifles and the flag.
Which didn't happen.
But what does that say about Blue Knights or Seattle if that's what happened? Which we're not saying, but like that is a huge gap, like comically huge. I think that might have been a little much.
Do you agree? Let us know.
Yeah, did you watch the show? Did you see that big of a gap? You know what? But for a core that plays 6th and 7th, what world is there a 1 point? I don't. I'm not attacking the judge. We have all been there, where you make some calls and you're like, oh, but there was only 4 drum corps at this show. So anyway,
pretty big call.
It was a big call. It was a very big call. All right, so tonight we have 3 big shows, and then there's some more shows this weekend. But today is Thursday. 3 huge shows. First, and we're going in performance order of like Central Time Zone to Western Time Zone.
For sure.
We start in Rockford, Illinois. One of the videos I said that the Phantom Regiment was from Rosemont. That was incorrect. It's the Cavaliers. The Green Machine is from the city of Rosemont. The Phantom Regiment are from, I'm old, Rockford Loves Park, Illinois. I know they don't say Loves Park anymore, but they're from Rockford. So the show shows. You ever been to Rockford, Illinois?
Nope.
You ever been to Chicago?
Yeah.
Midwest, right?
Yeah.
Did you play at Midwest?
I did.
How many times?
Once.
Oh, just high school?
Yeah.
Not middle school.
No.
Did you ever? Did they would have played?
I made it in middle school, and then COVID got canceled, and I just I just got lucky that I went to a high school that actually also made Midwest at the same time, so I still ended up being able to go.
Didn't they make it for COVID? Oh, yeah, and then they got
both my middle and high school made it for COVID.
Yeah.
And I ended up transferring to a separate high school away from my middle school that coincidentally also made Midwest.
Makes sense. The show of shows. We have a few open class, or like we have the Band-tastic honor band performance. Don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's
probably some BOA.
It's an honor band.
Yeah.
Then Eclipse from Indianapolis. I'm assuming an open class or a sound sport or an all age. We incorrectly identified Rogues Hollow Regiment. We said sound sport. They started as a sound sport. They are in
then they moved
all
on.
age,
Got
which means I could theoretically
you could
be a part of the Rogues Hollow Regiment. True story. I've never marched drum corps. I've written for it. I've taught it. I've designed.
Rogues Hollows calling your name.
Whoa, where are they at?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably near
Luke Canton.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Do we have an all age here in Texas? We should start one. Can you imagine if I love this. Can you imagine if all the LISD, Round Rock, Pflugerville, like all those guys and gals that went to UT and Texas State or TC, we all just formed an all age drum corps? Like,
that would be hilarious, like in a good way.
Can you? And this would be awesome. Can you imagine Gil? We just plant him in the sideline and he just squeals the whole time.
He's the featured soloist.
The featured. It's perfect. Yeah, we get Paul Pape, Mike Howard, Juan Carrera, me on bass drum.
Bring all the student leaders from their high school to go yell at them.
Can you imagine an old band director? Ooh, that's a smart. You know what? Let's get your dad on that. Let's get maybe Sassy could sponsor it. Sassy could sponsor this. They should. I guess just by sending you, that's their contribution?
Probably.
Okay. Rockford shows. Columbus State's the other open class drum corps. We see the Crossmen, I believe, for the first time competitively. We start with Crossmen. We get to the Troopers. Then we have the Cavaliers from Rosemont, Illinois. Then there's an intermission. Then we continue the Midwest with the Madison Scouts, Blue Stars, and then the Phantom Regiment, who does an encore because it's their own show.
I'm really excited to see like all these,
It's going to be great because the Troopers and Cavaliers, they're intertwined, and I'm sure they would hope that they were closer to the Blue Stars so they can get a better, 8, 9, 10 type of battle.
See where they're at.
Yeah, Madison Scouts will go kind of after the Cavaliers, which they were in their neighborhood last year. It was 11th for the Cavaliers, 12th for Madison. Blue Stars, a corps that they are chasing. They were 9th or 10th last year, the Blue Stars. And then Phantom Regiment more than likely will win this show, I would assume.
Yeah.
We'll win it as I don't know how big a gap as Boston over the next corps, but
it will be a gap.
It will be a gap. There should be no reason the Phantom Regiment does not at least win every major caption, if not every sub caption. No offense to any other drum corps, but there are tiers of the way this works based on the recap. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see. And then like you said, we see the Crossman debut competitively.
Yeah.
So this will be really, really exciting for all of that. We go back to the West Coast. Ever been to Portland, Oregon?
No, I want to.
Have you ever been to the Pacific Northwest?
I've been in Northern California.
Does that count?
Maybe.
Okay.
Someone's pissed right now.
They're like,
I said that.
No. How dare you? Pacific Northwest for the Northwest Youth Music Games. We just saw the Northwest Youth Music Games in Seattle. and now we see them in Portland, Oregon. We start off now. This is not an affiliated drum corps, but if personally, if we were to adopt a drum corps, the Gems of Boise, Idaho, I think that might be a worthy. I'm not going to send you an, but Gems. All right, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Impulse, another open class drum corps. Columbians, open class. We have an open class battle with Gems, Impulse, and Columbians. Then we get to the Blue Knights of Denver, Colorado, Santa Clara Vanguard, and then Mandarins, closing with Seattle Cascades because it is their home show. So we'll get to see Santa Clara.
We'll have a rerun.
We will. We will see. And I really need to see what happens with this color guard. So it's just so bonkers to me, that huge enough spread.
It's like, dang, dude.
Now, if the spread's bigger tonight, is it the same judge? Because that's the thing. If it's the same color guard judge, we're not going to see much motion. Or maybe that judge got a stern talking to. That's what happens. The chief judge's job's like, hey, might want to take it a little easy tonight. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see if the Blue Knights score moves. As someone who has been with drum corps before, and your score doesn't move from one night to the another,
that's bad.
You're like, what? What does this mean? Like, it should move. We didn't give you the
by
exact
a decimal, at least.
Even if you got worse, your score moved, because then you can go like, well, we did have a bad performance, or we had a better performance. They're just and I think maybe that judge missing was a reason for that.
Possible, yeah.
But I'm sure the Blue Knights want to see their score move. So yeah, Santa Clara's to win. I mean, at this point, we have to assume. I mean, if you look at the scores, and we'll get to that in a minute. I mean, Seattle's in a different. Know what's gonna happen. Seattle's in a different tier, right? I mean, sorry, Vanguard is in a different tier than Mandarins based on this. Now, if it all closes up tonight, then it's like, well, we don't know anything. We don't know anything on that. So
we'll see, though.
Yeah, we will see. And then we get to the Mid-Cal Championships in Oxnard.
Yep.
California. You've been to California. You just said Northern California. Yep. Have you been to Southern California? I don't know what part is Southern Cal. What about Mid-Cal?
Yeah, I've been like mid to upper, probably. Okay. I don't think I've ever been to Southern, though. Maybe.
San Diego?
No. Los
Angeles? San Francisco?
Where's San Jose?
Do you know the way to San Jose? Do you know who sings that?
No. Sorry.
I think San Jose is outside of San Francisco. Okay. I think so.
I think maybe that's the furthest.
Yeah, because Palo Alto is, I don't know.
Who knows?
All right. Well, people know, just not us.
Yeah.
A smaller show. We start off with the Golden Empire, open class from Bakersfield, California.
Yep.
The Academy, Boston Crusaders, Pacific Crest, and the Blue Devils.
Rematch. We
get to have a rematch, yes. Yeah, and we also see, for the first time competitively, the Pacific Crest, I believe, and the Academy. Yeah. Which we've only seen pictures of their London Fog uniforms that they released.
Can't wait to see it on the field.
Yeah, everyone's doing these. We go to the theater, the auditorium, and we get on the stage and we do all this, which that's fine. It's cool for a photo shoot, but we need to see it on the field. We need to see how that works.
Yeah. I like that trend, though.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I'm all for, we need to embrace the Broadway aspect of what we do, the theater aspect.
That's what it is now.
Yeah, it's all of that. The figure skating, the Broadway, all that stuff. I saw a post, I don't know if this is true, that this isn't going to be judged, which is unfortunate. Now, I could be wrong. It could be someone going, but they made this call 2 days ago. It was a very early call. So I don't know if it's a weather thing. I don't know if they can't get judges to California. I don't know. I could be. Maybe we're all wrong. We'll find out
it's
tonight.
Getting judged. Maybe who knows?
We'll see. We will see. So if it is getting judged, we get to see Boston and Blue Devils scored against each other. Boston won round one. We'll see if Blue Devils. Someone put in the comments section that the last time the Blue Devils won was late June or early July
last year, right?
Of
the
last
first
year.
show.
Yeah, I can think that was it.
I think it was, drums along the Rockies, I think.
Was it?
I think that's what he said. Maybe.
Well, we'll put it,
whatever.
Correct.
Their first show.
Correct. Yeah. So we've gone a whole year without the Blue Devils winning a show, which is wild. And
crazy to say.
If Blue Devils lose or if they don't judge this show, we go another show without them winning, which is so wild to think about and say. Now, after all of this, we still have not seen in competition Carolina Crown or Blue Coats, which is weird because we've seen shows. We've seen two shows of Crown.
Live.
Yeah, Crown live. But we have no Crown scores. So it'll be interesting to see when they finally join in. They all join in this weekend.
Really?
So now that we
Okay.
have Seattle, we have Academy, we have Crossman join in. I think all we're missing competitively might be Spirit and Genesis.
Okay.
I might be mistaken, but that's what it looks like to me. So that'll be a lot of fun once everyone gets in there. Now, I have always been one of those people that likes to roll my eyes when people say, you can't compare scores from contest to contest. I don't think that's entirely right. I don't think it's entirely wrong. But when you have the same judges.
Kind of relative.
Correct.
Yeah.
If I'm Nola Jones, and if I would be, that would be amazing. And I judged Boston tonight, and then tomorrow I judge Blue Devils. I'm going to think, how did they compare to the core I saw the night before?
Yeah, it's going to be similar.
Correct. It's the same rubric. These judges are well trained. A lot of them are. And a lot of them make some very smart, educated calls. And so you can kind of look at it and go like, yeah, okay. So
Fair.
I think that you can compare scores, but you need to take context into account. I always like to look at how much did Core A beat Core C. I don't know what I said. A beat B. And then you see B play C. How much did C beat B? And you go like, well, they didn't beat him as much. So does that mean A is over B? Like, all this kind of stuff. So anyway, however, I went and found all the rankings based on score, kind of looked at some things and figured out where we're sitting, that if this was where it is. Now, remember, we have no blue, we have no crown scores. So right now they're not making finals, which we know they're going to make finals. Where, I don't know. Because right now, Boston Crusaders sitting in first, obviously, with a 77.85. Vanguard, who I predicted, I'm going to eat this the whole summer, who I predicted to be eighth, is in second place right now with a 76.55.
You know what? That's not that big of a gap.
It's not. It's look, sometimes we make these calls and I didn't see a video. Foolish of me to doubt the greatest visual drill writer of all time. I know some of y'all will say Zengali, some of y'all will say Myron, and I get all those. These are all amazing. But, I mean, Michael Gaines is just the master. And you have him with Andy Toth. Just visually, what the Vanguard are doing this year, forgive me for doubting you. Please come on the show. Blue Devils in third right now with a 75.4. So there's like over a point gap between first and second and third.
When did we see? How many days ago did we see Blue Devils?
They came out at Drums Along the Rockies.
Okay, so it has been a little bit.
It has.
They have had more rehearsals.
So we're gonna have updated scores after this weekend from Boston, because tonight Boston sees Blue Devils if they score it.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully.
Fourth, Phantom Regiment with the 74.9. Phantom is closer to Blue Devils than Blue Devils is to Vanguard, and Vanguard is into Boston. Yeah. Mandarins 73.15 in fifth place. I think Mandarins are like on a seventh place island, just like last year. They kind of just like settled in.
Yeah,
they're like, okay,
it's a good place to be.
Yeah, they're not. There's a gap between the top and there's a gap between the bottom. Blue Stars are currently sitting in sixth with a 70.8, but there's a pretty big gap. We talked about that
3 points
between them and Mandarins. Yeah, seventh, the Colts 70.1, nipping at the heels of the Blue Stars.
Coming up,
we have a tie for eighth with Troopers and Cavaliers 69.45, and then we have another sizable gap. 10th place, Blue Knights, 67.85, which, if we add Blue Coats and Crown into making finals, let's go out on a limb. I think Blue Coats and Crown will make finals.
I think so.
Blue Knights are sitting in that 12th spot right now, and they are about 1.1 over Scouts with a 66.75.
So things could go up or down between either
and
of them.
Things will, because I don't think the Madison Scouts were sitting in 12th at this time last year.
Where were they?
In that 12, 13, 14.
Got it. So a little lower.
Yeah. Now, some friends have been saying that the scores seem to be low overall with some of the other drum corps, like the non-top top of the tier. Whether that means that that's where we're at, or they're being very conservative with their scores, I'm not certain. But all of this to say, these numbers don't mean anything, because now the drum corps are going to start to see each other. They're going to intermingle. And it still doesn't mean anything till San Antonio, because that's the very first time everyone comes together.
Good to see.
And then we kind of see how it goes. But we are going to see Boston and Blue Devils battle it out. We'll see Blue Coats and maybe Crown battle it out. I'm not sure their circuit. But regardless, we're going to see that. We're going to see the Scouts start battling out with Crossmen, with the Troopers and Cavalier. Like, we're going to see a lot of it. And I think what we're seeing, at least to me, and maybe you can agree or not, it's okay, it's going to be a huge battle, 1 through 6, and then like 8 through 10, and then 11 through 16.
Yeah.
Like we have these battles.
We have 3 different areas that are going to be all over the place.
Yeah,
but,
and then you have Mandarin Island. Just
you know, and you got to respect it.
Yeah.
They're chilling over there.
You know, yeah, it's just like that COVID year when you like everyone was going to make finals. You're like, yeah, we're cool. We're playing all 3 nights. We don't have to worry about this. And you know, would they like to be higher? Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Absolutely. There's nobody that sits there and goes
not
like,
necessarily a bad place to be.
Look, you have
still
a
in
core
finals.
that just made finals for the first time, what, 3 or 4 years ago, and they beat Vanguard last year. They've turned a lot of heads over the last few years. You know, you're trying to beat these drum corps that have been around for decades and have some.
Sometimes you just got to zoom out a little bit and be like, we're still
correct
100% in finals.
Yes, and every drum corps in front of them, except for Boston Crusaders, have a world championship. So you know, and they're beating drum corps who have won world championships. Correction, it was the Cavaliers who won 7. I know I said 5, I meant 7. Cavaliers have won 7. Madison Scouts have won 2.
So they're still in a great place.
Yeah. So they're in a great place. They could move up. We'll see once all the drum corps come together or start battling it out.
Yeah,
they're neighborhood. Sure. We got neighborhood battles. So, all right. So that's kind of it for this episode. We're gonna have next time we come back. There's gonna be so much scores. We're gonna have to figure out what not to talk about. Yeah. It's gonna be tough to go like, well, we might not even talk about the shows that take place today because we have updated scores from like Saturday or Sunday. We're not gonna talk about parades. You ever done a 4th of July parade?
No.
They're kind of fun. I mean, I never really marched a parade.
Yeah, you never marched in one.
I marched backwards because I was filming parade. So that was fair. Yeah, that was my contribution to marching a parade.
Yeah.
But now I used to march parades with a drum on. That sucked. Yeah.
I've never marched in a parade. Never experienced it.
Well, you're going to experience a lot of it for the next few years, right?
Yeah.
How many years are you going to march? Forever? Till you age out? Do you think?
Like for
drum corps? Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's expensive. 2?
Okay.
I would in a perfect world, I would love to do 3. But I've heard that everyone's told me they were like, you're going to do it. Like max you should do is 3. But I don't see myself doing more than 3.
That's tough. Well, especially because you'll be 19, right?
I'm young for my age, so I could go for a while, but I don't think I would.
It's a lot of money. It's like $6,000 now, right?
Yeah, $6,000.
Might be $10,000 your age out year.
Yeah, for all we know, exactly. So it's just, we'll see.
Yeah,
I would like to. 100%, I'm going to march. I just don't know how many.
Okay, well,
who knows what I want in a couple years.
Check back with us. Your Spicer shoutouts have been going crazy. The Rose Hollow Regiment, the Enrichment. Is there any Spicer shoutouts this episode?
I haven't been able to see any.
Oh man,
there will be plenty next week.
Wow. Well, they're getting a lot of traction, so good for you. I can't think of an alliterative word for me, but we'll figure something out if there's something that we want to shout out.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that we're not enjoying things. It just means we want to shine some light on some groups. Speaking of, in the comment section down below, or in the email address, or in any of the social channels we have. Sometimes there are things that you're like, we really wish somebody would talk about this, and not just like, will you talk about my drum corps? Like, we don't want that. But if you're like, I really like to know why you think, don't ask us, but why do you think the Mandarins were 1 point away from Vanguard and Color Guard? We can't answer that. He's a trumpet player. I'm a percussionist. I write music. He's going to
I think it's cool how they throw the rifle.
I like when they catch it.
So did they.
Yeah.
We have something in common.
Exactly. Don't ask us that. But for example, someone could say well, do you like that Phantom Regiment doesn't have a title? Does that matter? Do you like? Do you care about that?
No, I don't. I think their show is awesome.
I think it is too.
I'm a big fan. I think that it's pushing more on how we think about things.
Yeah.
I think it's also a funny way to call out people who are constantly overthinking drum corps shows when all you got to, it's like, just stop. It's right there. I'm a fan. I think the way that they're using the music and they're trying to draw emotion from you as much as possible. Dude.
Yeah.
Can't get better than that.
And this is not new for the Phantom Regiment. As long as I have known the Phantom Regiment, it has been about power and music and emotion.
Exactly what they thought.
Yeah. So to me, now, they did, in a weird twist of irony, by saying, well, we don't have a title, the show can be whatever, they released a video that told you that the show can be whatever. So in essence, they're telling you what the show is about. But I mean, you can get into it. But
Yeah.
But good for them for making a video. Everyone has one. They go, we didn't release a title. We didn't release a show video. They're releasing a show video about not releasing video. But whatever. Hey, good for y'all. Good production. I really liked it. It was fun. I liked the narration. The person that was speaking. Good speaker. Did you watch it? You watched it, right?
I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the drum majors?
I have no idea.
Got it.
How would I know? He had earrings.
Maybe.
He was kind of cool, so that made me think he was a drummer. It didn't seem to seep ego, so probably
Maybe
not
they
a
found
trumpet
somebody
player
who had a good like
or a snare drummer. You know, a baritone player, a trombone player by trade, but had to march euphonium. A Buick, as they say in Phantom Regiment land, a Buick. That's my guess. Let us know in the comment section down below.
drum major.
You say drum major, I say a Buick. What if he's a drum major who marched a Buick last year? Then we both win. See? Medium shirts, 9 on feet, and we're both right about this. So let us know what you want us to talk about, maybe some things you want to hear, maybe some things you want to know, questions about drum corps. We are going to eventually blend into marching band.
Yes.
So if you start to want to talk about marching band, send us something. Granted, we're heavy into drum corps right now.
Yeah.
But let us know in the comment section down below, and we'll talk about all of that stuff. Remember to give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, because that definitely helps. We're not millionaires. We could be if you get 1 million subscribers. I'm assuming that's how it works, right?
I'm sure.
Do we get $1 for every subscriber?
We could ask YouTube.
We could ask. Hey, give us some money. If you want to sponsor us, Yeti. You want to sponsor us, Yeti, or the Austin FC? We are in Austin, or Adidas.
Adidas, please.
If I need to take a moment here, Aiden. Do you know the name of shoes you're wearing right now?
Nike.
Yeah. And what shirt are you wearing?
Adidas.
Okay.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
You come into my house, this house of sneakers.
Nike's better.
Okay, we're gonna end the podcast right now. That's it. Everybody say bye to Aiden Spicer.
Bye.
It's the last episode he'll ever be on.
You like Adidas better?
3 stripes. I'm not a shoe monogamist. I like all shoes. New Balance, Adidas.
I just like the way. I like the Adidas merch. Like the swoosh.
Adidas does have the merch game, the tracksuit game. I do rock with them more. I
don't care that much.
It's not like that. Okay, all right. No. I'm wearing some Adidas, some AE ones. Yeah, what you know about that? We're gonna make that the thumbnail. Would that make you happy?